U.S. Vice President Mike Pence is now taking to Twitter to address Venezuelans and to recognize the presidency of a figure who was not elected president. Isn't that interesting? The United States is recognizing somebody in Venezuela who is not elected president, right there in that country in red. Red for communism, some of the critics of that country say. Here's RT correspondent Dan Cohen with the story.
U.S. Vice President Mike Pence took to Twitter to recognize opposition leader Juan Guaido as president of Venezuela.
The United States supports the courageous decision by Juan Guaido, the President of your National Assembly, to assert that body's constitutional powers, declare Maduro a usurper, and call for the establishment of a transitional government.
Pence called the actual president, Nicolas Maduro, an illegitimate dictator. That's despite Maduro having won a second presidential term in what the Council of Electoral Experts of Latin America called a clean election.
Nicolas Maduro is a dictator with no legitimate claim to power. He's never won the presidency in a free and fair election, and he's maintained his grip of power by imprisoning anyone who dares to oppose him.
Maduro responded in kind and condemned Pence's statement.
I have ordered the Minister of Foreign Affairs to initiate a total revision of our diplomatic relations with the United States of America. And in the upcoming hours, we will make political and diplomatic decisions in defense of national sovereignty and our Constitution.
Pence's call comes after Venezuela's Supreme Court declared null and void all acts of the National Assembly, which is dominated by Guaido's party. U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton condemned it as a predictable and hollow act and called the National Assembly Venezuela's only legitimate democratic institution. That decision came as small but rather violent anti-government demonstrations broke out in the streets. A cultural center in Caracas was set on fire and roads were blocked with burning barricades. Eventually, authorities broke them up with tear gas and rubber bullets. Opposition leader Juan Guaido cheered these protests on, joining Pence in calling Maduro a usurper. The protests were sparked after the arrest of a group of Venezuelan soldiers who reportedly stole weapons and attempted to raise a mutiny in Caracas. According to the Constituent Assembly president, they confessed to being offered payment to participate in the plot. Both President Nicolas Maduro and Juan Guaido have called for demonstrations in the streets on Wednesday, but Mike Pence's recognition of a leader who was never elected as president seems like a pretty clear case of meddling. Reporting in Washington, Dan Cohen, RT.
Zástupci Madurova režimu ale stále odmítají přistoupit na požadavek prezidentských voleb v dohledné době.
Ve Venezuele je zvolený prezident. Občané ho vybrali ve svobodných, transparentních a tajných volbách. Jeho mandát platí do roku 2025. Nejsme v situaci, abychom poslouchali jakékoliv požadavky opozice nebo mezinárodní komunity.